Just an update on these brake rotors from SFS. And I'm noticing here, I haven't done anything different since I've changed this brake rotor. I've done nothing different with this motorcycle in regards to storage, in regards to riding, and I still notice rusting on this particular brake rotor. It happens a little bit here and around like the floating edges. Again, it's not the whole brake rotor, and the inside actually looks pretty nice and clean, but you do start to see a little bit of this rust as going around. It doesn't really affect the performance, but in regards to like quality, just wanted to inform everybody that these brake rotors were pretty darn cheap, about half the price of the Triumph ones, and you get what you pay for. So you do have a little bit of rusting here. Just wanted to update everybody on this. Finishing a brake job here, and just put some new brake pads in these Brembo calipers. Pretty easy job, frankly. The hardest part is just cleaning up the mess. I'm about 4,100 miles on this bike, so I figured let's bleed the brakes, let's put new brake pads in. The Brembo pads that came, there's still a little material on them, frankly, but I don't know. I just felt like it was time. I wasn't feeling the same kind of bite, and that might have been a brake fluid deal. It was pretty gross too. So just so you know, I mean, I'm at 4,150 miles on this bike. The brake fluid was pretty gross. It's been 3 years since I've had it, almost 3 years. So I'm just gonna use soapy water and a toothbrush, clean all this up. I'm not gonna remove the spring. Then I'll hit it with some brake cleaner after I dry everything off, just to get all the moisture out. And then I'll just add the new brake pads. It's a pretty simple, straightforward job, and these sort of H brake pads are really easy to install. Doesn't take a whole lot of know-how. You fit them in the wrong way and they don't go in, so it's pretty straightforward. All right, here we go. Just a quick little like how-to-ish video on changing your rear brake pads on the Scrambler 1200. It's not that easy, frankly. Brake caliper, in order to get to the pads, you got to take the rear tire off. The way that the Scrambler has this set up, and I've seen how the Tiger runs, and I've seen how Bonneville runs, both of those just have bolts that actually go in here, and you can remove those bolts and then pull this side of the caliper off. This bike doesn't do that. It runs just like a dirt bike. So it's actually, this piece here goes up and over that little notch to hold it in place, and then you sort of slide that in with the axle to make sure everything's in line. I have a center stand on my bike now, which is really helpful, but in order to get the wheel out, you really need some kind of scissor lift or something to help sort of pick the bike up, and then you can roll the tire out. Hard to get this big old fat tire into this space and get everything attached. So I've been working here to clean the calipers. I'm not trying to do like a professional job or anything. I'm just trying to get the grime off the insides here and get this spring clean. I'm not changing that. I'm not taking it out because, and frankly, everything looks pretty clean. I just literally toothbrush, soapy water, and then after I do a little scrub and a wipe down with a towel, I'll jump in with the brake clean, evaporate some of the water that I put on there, but also knock away some of the dirt that I freed up with the brush. So I'm gonna do a quick clean, get all this kind of road grime here from the inside of the tire, chain grease probably, that's just splattered over the inside of the swing arm. And I'm gonna clean all this up in here. So I'm changing brake pads, changing brake fluid, and this is my last step here. Going to put a little bit of grease on these pins, push that back together, make sure that my brake pads are in correctly. There were two little sort of cotter pins here, sort of a bolt or a pin that went through here to hold the brake pads in. So I'm gonna make sure that that assembly is all set to go, and then I'll grease everything, put it back together, clean the inside, the swing arm, and that's it.